No, I totally hear you on that. And I so, agree with you. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And that makes it a little bit more, well, exciting. Do you want to put it that way? Because you don't know what you can't do. Nobody told you what you can't do. And that's why you take more risks, And that's the power of youth. And that's the power of play. If you're too afraid of what is ahead of you, you might actually just stop in your tracks and not follow through. But if not take on the tried and tested route by just exploring and experimenting, you might actually find a way. It might not be the way, but it could be even better. Thank you for sharing that with us. But right now, let's come back to the topic. Let's come back to why we got you here. Can you explain to us a little bit more about the IN campaign?
Yes, that's right. So, I mean, for me, I Am Campaign is really just really that excellence of, I wanted to do something. I didn't know how it would actually turn out. And I just gathered a group of like-minded people who believe in that same cause, that shared aspiration. So what is I Am Campaign, right? To me, it's an embodiment of young people believing in themselves. And I think, in light of COVID and the pandemic, that there's a lot of people who are struggling, and we just wanted a campaign, right, that will really bring people together and acknowledge, right, that all of us are in this together. We want to kind of create that shared identity where young people can make a difference, to create a positive future. And I think, to me, why we have I Am Campaign setting the goal to eliminate cervical cancer is because, as you have rightly pointed out, cervical cancer is highly preventable, right? Which means that, people do not need to suffer from this cancer. And we're talking about cancer, right? We're not talking about any other disease, right? But the impact on cancer can be very big, not just on the person who got cancer, but also with the family and the friends, right? So what we really want to do is to really eliminate this pain that any women has to go through and their family have to go through. And to me, like, young people can play a big part, because it's something that you have to do it individually. You would have to go for your own screening, you have to go for your vaccination, and by doing so, you're protecting yourself. And we can really reach a stage where Singapore doesn't even have to think about this as one of the cancer that people will need to be worried about, right? So to me, I Am is an embodiment of how we want to bring people to care for themselves, right? A lot of times, I mean, if you talk about cervical cancer, women tends to pay a lot more attention to the people around them, right? I mean, as mothers, they'll care for their children, for their family. As sisters, they'll care for their siblings, right? And we want to make sure that it's not just about the women, but also how men can also be part of this, right, to protect their family, right? And everyone would have, like, someone who is a female at home, and what is your role to be able to do that. And interestingly, right, I mean, as we're doing this campaign, we kind of find out that HPV does not only affect female. And I think even, like, in the team, right, we started to discover through the doctors that we speak to, right, that male are actually affected by it too, and it can cause cancers also for male, just not cervical cancer, but it's also HPV related cancer. So if everybody becomes more aware, I mean, we are actually really protecting not just the women, but also the men. And, like, I think it really shows how everybody can play a part, right? And really, we have the technology today to be able to do so. With the vaccination and the screening techniques are so established, right? So really what's lacking is, a lot of times, people just do not think that you will be the one who will get the cancer, right? So nobody wants to have the cancer, right? But I think it's just something that we want to remind everybody, that you can do something to protect yourself.